And we got a TUA update. Let's take a look and some predictions for this weekend. All right, and happy Friday, my Dolphin fans. This is Phins Football Podcast. I'm B Trill, and guess what? You made it to the end of the week. Hopefully it is payday for you. I'm bi-weekly, so not payday for me. But we did make it to Friday. Happy Friday. Hope you have some safe plans for this weekend, but let's start diving right into some news. So I'm going to go over some injury updates. I'm going to do some stat predictions. And yes, just like that intro said, that new intro, we have some updates on TUA. So I'll get to everything in just a little bit. So first, let's start talking about the game itself. So we have a 4:05 game in Seattle. That is the longest road trip for the NFL that is not international. We are going from the southeast all the way to the northwest. So, of course, that is hard on the team. That is a long travel. You're going through different time zones, which is why we are at 4:05. That is still 1 p.m. Eastern, or I'm sorry, 1 p.m. Pacific, but that's 4:05 Eastern. So let's take a look at some of those numbers. So first off, the spread right now, they're actually giving Miami 4.5 points. Of course, that is due to our quarterback situation, as well as I'll go over some new injury updates as well. But right now on Caesars Sports Betting, I do see Miami is getting 4.5 points, with the money line being plus 135. As well as the over-under is 41.5. 41.5. I kind of like those numbers. I'm kind of going to say over on that, just because that's a 20-21 game. So that's a close game, but I think maybe points will be scored. Of course, we do have some tough defenses. Miami's didn't look good last week against Buffalo. But as well as some other numbers we have on Caesars Sports Betting, it looks like they're looking for Skyler's over-under on yards passing is 191.5. Touchdowns are 0.5. So will he score that touchdown? I think he will. I'll go the over. As far as yards, actually, I might go under. He might get 180, 185, close to the 191, but I don't know. I think we're going to lean on the running game, but I'll get to that a little bit later. As far as Achan, of course, I just said running game. He's looking at plus 70.5 on yards, as well as receiving 25.5 for receiving. I'm going over on both of those. Tyreek Hill, his over is actually 64.5 receiving, as well as his anytime touchdown is plus 180. For Waddle, we have over is 44.5 on yards, and his anytime touchdown is plus 250. So if you're looking to bet on some, and you bet with your heart like I do, and with Miami, then you'll probably take the overs on all those. Seattle's money line is at negative minus 225. Geno, his yards is 235.5. His touchdown over under is 1.5. I'm actually going to go with the under on that. Hopefully we only hold him to one touchdown. If not, DK, he did show up on the injury report. I'll get to that, but he's looking at, for yards, 60.5. I'm also going to go with the under. His anytime touchdown is plus 150. Now I guess I'll kind of dive into some injury updates. So, for the first time ever, Not really, but it seems like it. It has been forever since we have actually got beaten out on the injury report. We always have a very long list. I would almost roll out a scroll with some of our injury reports, but actually, Seattle has more players on the injury report. I'll go over all of Seattle's a little bit later, but as of right now, for the did not practice, key injury right now that we're watching is Kenneth Walker. Right now, he is doubtful to play on Sunday, which, of course, for Miami is good, but they do have Zach Charbonnet. So they do have a very healthy running back room, kind of like Miami does. But with Kenneth Walker, if he doesn't play, that would be huge for Miami. Jerome Baker, who is the ex-Miami Dolphin, he was limited in practice with a hamstring. So who knows? Maybe he might sit out, but he looked like he might play. It'll probably be a game time decision for him. As far as DK Metcalf, he was nursing a hand injury, but he was full in practice today. Tyler Lockett, though, he actually was limited in practice with a thigh injury. So we'll keep a look on that, see if he actually does play, if that will be a game time decision. Those are the main injuries right now. Like I said, Seattle has a very, very long list. Who knows? I might just pop it up right here. But I'm trying to keep my edits and images to a minimum, as when I do add graphics, it actually does add a lot of time to upload these videos and basically export them out of my editing software. As far as Miami's updates or injury updates, Armstead will play, so that is huge. He's been dealing with a rotator cuff, but I guess he's going to be wearing one of his braces, and he will be out there. So that's huge to have him watch Skylar Thompson's blind side. As far as Grant Dubois, he is going to be out with a shoulder injury. Malik Washington, he's going to be a game time decision. Of course, he is nursing that quad, so hopefully he'll be good to go. Right now, we only have 3 healthy wide receivers on the whole roster: Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Braxton Berrios. So hopefully Malik Washington will play. If not, we might be calling up some practice squads. Of course, we have Eazy-E on the practice squad, as well as ex-Seattle Seahawk, drafted by the Seattle Seahawks. He is Dwayne Eskridge. So he's a smaller wide receiver. He's only about 5'9", 190 pounds. He's out of Western Michigan. Yeah, he's in his 4th year, but he's already 27 years old. So he came out kind of old at 23. But who knows? His stats so far in the career is not as good as we would hope. I can't remember which round he was drafted, but right now he only has 17 catches for 122 yards in 3 years of playing. He didn't play at all last year, no game time. So with these injuries, one of the main injuries that we're watching right now, Raheem Mostert. So it's looking very doubtful that he's actually going to play. Right now they're saying his chest is hurting him. He had some issues where they're saying he has some fractured cartilage. So as far as I know, cartilage is not a bone, so I'm not sure how you fracture cartilage, but he is dealing with that injury, as well as just his chest. He said at first it was hard for him to breathe, but his breathing is a lot better. He's just nursing and dealing with the pain. Raheem, I remember watching that replay. He had 3 defenders land on top of him at the same time. So that's what is dealing with that chest injury. But who knows if he's not good to go. We already see Devon Achane. He's looking like he can be a featured back and just a 3-down back where he carries the load. He led us in rushing and receiving last week, so hopefully he can continue that. And, of course, we do still have Jeff Wilson Jr. Of course, we want to see that Jalen Wright rookie. That will be a lot of fun, just seeing the backfield. But let's talk about this TUA news. So we have a TUA update. It's great news. Surprising news. it looks like the very next night after that Buffalo game, after Tua got the concussion, he went to an event that was Disney on Ice. He went with Raheem Mostert's family as well as Jonnu Smith's family. So they had a night out, and I think it was Mostert who was interviewed saying that it was great to be out with him, and Tua showed no signs of a concussion. He seemed very alert, very aware, which is great to hear. Of course, we know it's early. We know he's already on IR. We know that he's not going to come back. The earliest he can come back is against the Cardinals at home, which is week 8. Of course, because they don't count the bye week as part of IR, he has to take at least 4 weeks off. So with that, it already sounds like he's looking healthier. Of course, we're not doctors. No one is doctors but the doctors. But they'll determine how far he is in recovery. As far as I know, they talked about with concussions, it's all about the length of period in between. I mean, that's not all it's about, but that has a lot to do with the road to recovery, to where since Green Bay, he had a whole year off last year of not getting concussed, which is great, which is what we want. And that kind of helped him in this injury situation where he can, I guess, heal quicker when the brain is damaged and bruised, which is what a concussion is. It's bruising of the brain. But obviously it's too early. We don't want to have Tua run out there even if he wasn't on IR. We wouldn't have him suit up the very next week. But we want to monitor this, and as of right now, all the monitoring is looking great. It looks like he should be right on track to possibly come back in 4 weeks, or 5 weeks with the bye week. As far as some other news I brought up today, so I see a lot of speculations about if Tua retires, what are we going to do? Everybody hit that panic button. Everybody run for the hills. What are we going to do as a franchise? Of course, we just locked up all these key players to our franchise. What are we going to do? Well, it's been tossed around a lot. Oh, we're going to get Ryan Tannehill. Well, guess what? We got Tyler Snoop Huntley. Then Bryce Young got benched. So they're like, wait a second. A number 1 overall pick getting benched his second game of his second season. That's a little early. I mean, they did throw him to the Wolves early and had him start right away. But that ruins a kid's confidence. We saw what happened with Tua, with Brian Flores, with B-Flow, who kind of just ruined his confidence. Told him he wasn't good on a daily basis. Yelled at him. Told him he was terrible. Told him that he should have got Mac Jones or should have drafted Justin Herbert, or should have. He didn't. We stuck with Tua, and here we have the quarterback whisperer with Mike McDaniel, who basically hypes up anybody and lets them know that they are good, puts in that confidence. Well, maybe Mike McDaniel can do it again. Again, if Tua retires, here I'm contradiction with the good news that he's doing good and looking healthy, but again, it's all about what's upstairs. If he's not okay upstairs, if he is still having issues with concussions and doctors want him to retire and say that he's not going to be good to go and not cleared for football activities, then maybe we do look towards the future. Maybe we do knock on the door of Carolina and say, hey, what can we offer you? You obviously don't want this number 1 overall draft pick. What about a 5th? What about a 4th? What about a 3rd? I mean, right now, you can probably bank on getting a young quarterback on a rookie contract with a lot of upside and a very, very, very high ceiling for a very low risk. Of course, he did go ahead of C.J. Stroud in the draft. I think it is influencing that C.J. Stroud is just looking amazing. C.J. Stroud should have probably been the first pick. Carolina should have probably picked C.J. Stroud. But that ship has sailed. Now they're kind of looking at a Josh Rosen situation, what happened with Kyler Murray. When Kyler Murray came out of college, they already drafted Josh Rosen. I think it was top 5 the year before. They dumped him. They got rid of him. Guess who picked him up? Miami. So who knows? Maybe we do it again. Maybe we knock on the door, see if we can get a bargain, get a future quarterback, a young quarterback, and maybe get it for cheap. That would be a win-win scenario to where Bryce Young, hopefully he would like to go to Miami. I already saw that he is open to a trade. He said he is open for whatever comes ahead of us, whether it is in Carolina or elsewhere. Well, hopefully elsewhere might be Miami. So we got a lot to think about. What I want to talk about next is our keys to victory. So one thing that I think we need to do is run the ball. Take the ball out of Skylar Thompson's hands. Run the ball. We have a great backfield, even if Raheem Mostert is not good to go. We have Devon Achane. We have Jalen Wright. We have Jeff Wilson Jr. Pound the rock with those 3. With pounding the rock, our guard play is terrible. Robert Jones is terrible. Liam Eichenberg, he's holding up a little bit. Why don't we try Patrick Paul? Patrick Paul kind of is the size of Robert Hunt. Robert Hunt was a very large guard. Who knows? Until we can punch in Patrick Paul as a tackle, let's try him out at guard. I mean, right now, that line is kind of suffering. We can't let Skylar Thompson scramble around and run around, or Tyler Snoop Huntley scramble around for his life. We want to make sure they're protected. We don't want another quarterback going down. So I think why not try him out? That would be my decision for Patrick Paul. I would also call up Eazy-E because he can help in the running game as he's a big body to block. But with taking the ball out of Skylar Thompson's hands, no interceptions. I don't want any interceptions. I want to make sure he is a game... Yes, I'm going to say it, a game manager, because I want to make sure he just does not turn the ball over, doesn't put our defense in tough positions, and we move the ball with the running game. With that, defense. I want turnovers. I want third down stops. I want big plays. I want stop giving up the big plays in the middle to the tight end. Let's tighten that up. Zach Charbonnet, we got to make sure we watch him. DK Metcalf, let's bring Poyer down to watch him with Ramsey. Let's lock him up. Another player to watch, Jonnu Smith. Skylar Thompson, let that be your new best friend. Just dump it off to him. Let him get the rack that he can get. He is a very fast tight end, and we have the offense to make that work. So, with everything going on, with those keys to victory, I say Miami wins in a close one. Of course, I'm a homer. That is a very tough road battle going all the way to Seattle, but I think Miami can do it. I believe Miami can do it, and I hope Miami can do it. For right now, that is my updates. Those are the injury updates. Any more breaking news, I'll definitely tune in with a short. But right now, it's about 5:30. I'm going to try to get this uploaded as quickly as possible. Again, I'm taking a lot of the overs. I'm taking Miami with the spread of plus 4.5. But let's go Miami. Let's get this win. Let's show the NFL that, hey, we can win until Tua gets back. Or we're just going to win with Skylar Thompson and Snoop. But again, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Please keep sharing, getting my name out there. This is B Trill with Phins Football Podcast. Have a safe weekend, and I'll see you on Sunday. And Fins up, family.